The sun rose quietly over the small town of Maplewood, casting soft golden light through the windows of a modest house on Elm Street. Inside, Sarah Mitchell sat on the edge of her bed, staring out at the morning sky with a sense of heaviness she couldn't shake. Her hands, trembling slightly, held an old, faded photograph of her family, a reminder of what once was and what seemed so far away now. Sarah had always been a woman of strength and resilience, but the past few years had tested her spirit in ways she never imagined. After losing her job at the local diner, her husband's unexpected departure, and the struggles of raising her 2 children alone, hope had become a fragile thread she clung to desperately. But as the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, that thread felt like it was unraveling. Her son, Ethan, was only 10, a bright boy with a curious mind and a heart full of questions that Sarah sometimes found hard to answer. Her daughter, Lily, just 7, had the quiet wisdom of a child who understood more than she let on. Both of them needed her to be strong, but some nights, Sarah wondered if she had anything left to give. On this particular morning, as Sarah wiped the sleep from her eyes, a soft knock came at the door. It was Mrs. Thompson, the elderly neighbor who lived down the hall. With her gentle smile and kind eyes, Mrs. Thompson was one of the few people in Maplewood who seemed to understand without needing many words. "Good morning, Sarah," she said, stepping inside without waiting for an invitation. "I made some extra pancakes. Thought you and the kids might like some." Sarah managed a weak smile. "That's very kind of you, Mrs. Thompson. They'd love that." As Mrs. Thompson arranged the plates on the kitchen table, Sarah's thoughts drifted. It was moments like these, small acts of kindness, that reminded her there was still good in the world, even when everything else seemed to fall apart. The day unfolded with its usual challenges. Ethan struggled with his math homework, frustrated by the numbers that seemed to dance just beyond his understanding. Lily wanted to talk about her day at school, sharing stories about her friends and the new puppy one of them had just gotten. Through it all, Sarah did her best to listen, to encourage, and to smile. But when the evening came and the house grew quiet, Sarah found herself alone on the porch, staring out at the stars. The weight of uncertainty pressed down on her, threatening to crush the last remnants of hope she had left. It was then that her phone buzzed, a message from an unknown number. Hesitant, she opened it. "Don't give up. There is always a way." No name. No explanation. Just those few words. Sarah sat there, staring at the message, feeling a strange warmth spread through her chest. Who could have sent this? Why now? The next morning, determined to find some clarity, Sarah decided to visit the town library, a place she hadn't been in years but remembered as a sanctuary of knowledge and possibility. Inside, the smell of old books and polished wood brought back memories of childhood dreams and quiet afternoons spent imagining a better future. At the front desk stood a young librarian, Jake Reynolds, who greeted her with a warm smile. "How can I help you today?" he asked. Sarah hesitated, then said, "I'm looking for something. Anything that can help me find hope again." Jake nodded thoughtfully and led her to a section filled with stories of overcoming adversity, personal growth, and resilience. He pulled out a few books and handed them to her. "These stories have helped many people," he said. "Maybe they'll help you too." Over the next few weeks, Sarah returned to the library often, immersing herself in tales of courage and renewal. She began to see her own struggles reflected in the pages, and slowly, the knot of despair inside her began to loosen. At home, she started small changes, setting routines for the kids, applying for jobs again, and reaching out to old friends she had lost touch with. Each step was a victory, no matter how small, and with each victory, her hope grew stronger. One afternoon, while walking through the park with Ethan and Lily, Sarah noticed a flyer for a community support group meeting. It was designed for parents facing challenges, offering a place to share stories and find encouragement. She signed up. At the first meeting, Sarah was nervous, surrounded by strangers who carried their own burdens. But as people shared their journeys, the room filled with empathy and understanding. For the first time in a long time, Sarah felt seen and heard. She met people like Marcus, a father who had lost his job but found purpose in volunteering, and Jenna, a single mother who had rebuilt her life after addiction. Their stories were different, but the same thread ran through them. Hope, even in the darkest times. Inspired, Sarah decided to start a blog, sharing her own story in the hope it would reach others who felt lost. Her words were honest and raw, but filled with the light she was rediscovering. Slowly, her posts gained readers, messages of support and thanks flooding in from strangers who found comfort in her journey. One evening, as Sarah sat typing the latest post, her phone buzzed again. This time, it was a photo of a smiling family, a message from an anonymous sender. "You are not alone. Hope is alive because of you." Tears filled her eyes, but this time, they were tears of gratitude and renewed faith. Sarah realized that hope was not just a fragile thread. It was a powerful force that connected people, even when they couldn't see it. Her life was far from perfect, and the road ahead was uncertain, but Sarah knew this. No matter how hard things got, hope would always be there, waiting to be found. And so would she.